welcome to For the Love of Nature, a podcast where we tell you everything you need to know about nature and probably more than you wanted to know. I'm Laura Fawks, Lapole.
And I'm Katy Holloway, and this is episode 10. Today, we're going to be talking about deep water creatures and the amazing adaptations they have. I know I always say, I'm excited for this one.
I know.
But
we are.
Yeah, because this one, I like ocean animals a lot. But I would have to say my one animal I knew nothing about. The second one, well, I'll get into it. I knew some about it. And so, yeah, so I picked two that are definitely out of my normal comfort zone that I didn't know a whole lot about.
Cool. Yeah, I'm the same. I really didn't know much about any of them. I'd heard of two of them, and yeah. Anywho.
So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's all factual. So, all right. Do you want to go ahead and do our, start with your nature news?
Sure. So my nature news this time is we're going back to the dinosaurs. We keep talking about dinosaurs in nature news, which is cool.
I think the last time we brought up dinosaurs was the butthole one.
No, well, and then there was the David
Did we have
Attenborough
another
app.
one? Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Of the creatures that I also couldn't pronounce. Okay.
But this one is a very new. The article came out March 13th on CNN, and its researchers discover a dinosaur preserved sitting on a nest of eggs with fossilized embryos, a first.
Whoa.
Yeah. So in the past, they found avian dinosaurs sitting on nests with embryos. And they found, but this isn't an avian, this is an oviraptor. So this is the first time they've found an oviraptoid sitting on a nest with embryos inside.
Is that really what they're called? Oviraptoid?
Yeah, oviraptoid. Oviraptoid theropod.
Oh, fancy.
Every time I think of oviraptor, though, I just think of The Land Before Time. I think it's the second one. And there's like those two stooges.
The second one out of 25.
Well, they're the ones that I'm pretty sure steal Chomper's egg.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Man, I have not watched those in so long.
I'll never forget. I probably have seen them.
They were some of them were soul crushing.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh,
so
yes.
Sad.
Absolutely. My mom couldn't watch the first one with us. She would just burst into tears. It's so sad.
What are you crying about?
As an adult, you are like, oh, this is so much worse. Because you fully
so
get
much worse.
like, what's happening. Tree star. Anywho,
Tree star. Yes.
So this is a first because, like I said, this oviraptoid is sitting on a nest and it's got eggs, 24 of them, I believe they said. And most of them, or at least some of them, have bones inside of those eggs showing embryos. And that's never been seen before.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. So before, they weren't actually sure about oviraptoid, like, parenting behavior. Because they thought, could this be, does it just lay its eggs like a bird and leave? Some
is
birds.
Is it a jerk?
Some birds.
Yeah. Is it a jerk?
Or is it like a crocodile who guards its eggs, but doesn't actually sit on them? But this seems to indicate incubation of some kind. So that's what they were most excited about, is that there's like a glimpse into this species now.
That's really cool.
Yeah. They of course have crazy illustrations of these.
As they always do.
Yeah.
As they always do.
And I mean, looks like a bird, actually like a cassowary. It's totally a cassowary,
really?
But it's not a bird. It's not avian.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
I love Jurassic Park and I love that kind of stuff. I don't, for how much I love the movie and learning about dinosaurs, because I worked at a museum for a little while, and I love that stuff, but I just don't know a whole lot about them. It's not like I never hit a dinosaur phase growing up.
Yeah, or I did, but mine was it was more about stories about dinosaurs, not necessarily memorizing
the
names.
Land Before Time.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Right. It was like second grade, I remember going through like a phase because my teacher had a set of these books that were first person point of view from the dinosaurs. And I liked it. One of them was freaking morbid, though. One of them was about, I think it was a triceratops who had insect eggs laid in its hide.
Wait. Insect. Okay, I heard incest, and
no, you're like, wait a minute. Well, that would have been inappropriate for second grade, but also I thought dying from an infection due to insect eggs in your body was pretty morbid for second grade too.
Yeah, my 5-year-old constantly, because he does really like dinosaurs, as most 5-year-olds do. He is fascinated with how they died. Like, he constantly, no matter how many times you explain, like, the different theories and everything, but we're not really sure. He will constantly ask, how did they die? How did they die? Like, all the time.
Yeah, I just love that we're still finding, we're finding new stuff all the time, even though these things are millions of years old.
Like, dinosaur butthole perfectly preserved.
All right.
It's fascinating stuff.
What's your news?
All right. Welp, it's the year they are coming. Brood X.
Yes!
Trillions of cicadas. They're merging. And this actually, Laura's going to affect your area. Yeah. So
we're ready.
Brood X is the... Did you say we're ready?
Yeah. Well, so since I work at the Nature Center, we're like ready to have a cicada festival, and we're hoping to get...
Oh, totally should.
We're really hoping to get somebody who will like do a cooking demo on how to prep them.
I thought you were going to say like somebody who like does work with cicadas, and I was like wondering what that would be like.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
do they mimic their calls? Do they travel the U.S. and track?
But I've seen so many, because this brood is coming, I've seen so many good memes lately about cicadas.
Really? You need to send them my way.
Yeah, well, just talking about how, like, cicadas obviously have it figured out. Like, they sleep for, 15 to 17 years. And when they come out, they just climb a tree and scream at the top of their lungs.
Yeah, right? That's a great life. So this one, it hasn't been out in 17 years. And it's going to be, let's see here, in a lot of different states. So Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina. For whatever reason, they leave out South Carolina. Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New York, and New Jersey.
It's like the Mideast.
Yep. So I did look. In Texas, we don't have like cicadas we just don't.
You guys have locusts.
Yeah, right. We go full on biblical with our our insects. So if you guys, if anybody doesn't know what a cicada is, like Laura said, they just scream and call. They're about 3-inch wingspan. What do you think? Like 2 inches length, probably.
Yeah, I'd say pretty fat.
Yeah, like very chubby, big red eyes, big long legs, and yeah, they just scream, and they stay dormant for quite some time. And so this is Brood X, and so various broods, because they go dormant for so long, various broods will come out every year, so you can predict what's going to be coming out when. And so this one's supposed to be a pretty big one.
Yeah, I've heard that this one's going to be like larger than normal,
like a mega brood.
Yeah, and which is going to really impact our plants and all sorts of stuff. I mean, but think of how like baby birds are going to get sick of cicadas because they're going to be eating so many.
Because they're plump. Oh, I mean, like you said, like they're chubby. I mean, that is a meal to be had.
For sure.
So Brood X.
Yeah, apparently they don't have them on the West Coast, because I was reading another meme about, how weird it is for somebody from LA to move to Philly, and then all of a sudden the trees start screaming like they're on fire. And they're like, what is going on? And everyone else is like, oh, this is totally normal.
Yeah, I think I think it stops at like the Mississippi-ish line. It might go over a little bit, because I know Oklahoma has some, but it definitely is like an East Coast
I think that's the same with fireflies.
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure fireflies are everywhere.
I have not. I will say, though, I know people down here in Texas, they have seen them, but just like it is everywhere, they said that that's a huge decline.
Definitely.
That they just, which is so sad, because lightning bugs are so cool. On that depressing note.
Let's dive into the water.
But or a boom splash instead of a cymbal. All right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I've got some really interesting. So mine are deep ocean, not just deep water, specifically ocean. Okay. This one I heard about in my last semester of class for my last semester in grad school. We were talking about aquatic systems, and this species came up. It's called the barrel-eye fish. Have you...
Barrel-eyed fish.
Yeah, okay. Barrel-eye. Just singular.
Barrel-eye. Just one. Just one.
So the barrel-eye fish lives in the North Pacific Ocean. It's only about 6 inches long, which I feel like is very misleading because all the photos make it look really big.
Okay. That's not the first time I've seen the pictures of these guys, and I really thought that they were
bigger
a lot
fish.
Bigger.
Nope, hand size.
Wow.
My hand.
That's so deceptive.
Definitely.
But my second one too was the same thing. I thought it was much larger than what it actually is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe
it's because there's no like when we see pictures, there's no like context to compare it against. I don't know.
And the cameras all have to get so close.
Right. We're like, whoa, it must be giant.
It just seems, it must be at least 30 feet big. And it's all but 6 inches.
So this fish can be found at 2,000 to 2,600 feet down.
Dang.
Which, so it's not like the depths of the ocean, but...
Yeah, not the bottom of the ocean.
It's pretty far down. To put it in perspective, it kind of lives where there's very, very little light transitioning into complete darkness.
Okay. Kind of like the middle zone.
Yeah, but like the bottom of the middle zone.
Yes. Okay.
And it eats zooplankton, crustacean, and colonial jellyfish, which are called siphonophores, which I did not know about. So, incredible adaptations that it has. There is no way you could picture this animal unless you saw it in a nightmare, or we're trying to design...
It'll freak you out.
Yeah. Or we're trying to design an aquatic alien. So
that is very accurate. It does look very alien-like.
Totally. So let me paint you a picture, listeners. A fish, but where the eyes should be, there are 2 small indentations that are actually what it uses to smell with. The top half of its head is transparent and full of fluid, so you can see everything in there, including 2 giant green eyes staring up at you. Its head sort of looks like the cockpit of a jet. It's like clear.
So why? Do you go into that?
Yes.
Okay, you go into that. Okay.
So why the crazy eyes, first of all? Well, these fish live where the faintest bit of sunlight is fading, like I said. So if you're going to have eyes, they need to be able to be amazing at collecting light. The green lens, like the reason they look green is because green can filter out sunlight, which seems really counterproductive because you're like, wait a minute, shouldn't you be?
Yeah.
But they're not trying to see sunlight. They're actually trying to see bioluminescence made by jellyfish.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's why they're colored green.
Yeah. It's like, I need to see better. You know what I need to do? Cut out all the light.
Right? Yeah. And the reason that its head is like transparent and its eyes literally face upwards, which is the grossest part for me. I can't get over the way it looks.
Looking up.
It's giant bulbous eyes. It's like Gollum. So they can see in the dark, but why do their eyes face upwards? Well, in 2009, so this is really recent. I mean, that they're finding out deep sea creatures we just don't really know almost anything about.
Anything, yeah.
And so we're learning all the time. So in 2009, they discovered that although they normally face up, they can rotate toward the front when trying to target food or see what they're eating.
Okay, so I just imagine it's always looking up, and then it like sees a fish straight ahead, and it just goes like, whoom, and like looks forward all of a sudden.
I was just thinking how creepy it would be to be watching this fish, and all of a sudden its eyes slowly like
spin.
So, otherwise, having eyes that look up directly help them to see the silhouettes of potential prey or predators. So it totally makes sense. Okay. Like, okay. If everything lives above
creepy,
you, then
it's
look up.
Still creepy, though.
Oh, yeah. Research.
Or look forward in their case.
Yeah. So they
just creepishly look forward.
Yeah. So researchers believe that they might hang out below those colonial jellyfish and steal food from their tentacles. So their transparent head shield.
Wait. So, like, that probably didn't cover. So do they, like, they steal food from the tentacles? Like, do they go up and, like, suck on a tentacle? Or do they, like, nibble on a tentacle? Or is it...
I think...
Because won't they get
zapped? Yeah.
Barb,
so apparently their transparent
barbed?
head shield allows them to zoom in close but be unharmed by the sting. So as long as it goes head first...
Interesting.
I don't know. Well, so what I'm picturing, what they're saying is that this little freak of a fish is hanging out below with its eyeballs pointed straight up. It sees the tentacles, and it's like, all right, there's a fish in those tentacles, and I want it, or not a fish, whatever it'd be eating. Another, and crustacean. It goes upwards, and then at the last second rotates its eyes forward, and then goes in, grabs it, because its mouth is also so tiny that it's very precise. Like, it rotates those eyes, goes for it, grabs its mouth, and gets out of there. Crazy.
Yeah.
And then the other weird adaptation that they have is they have very large fat fins that allow them to hang completely motionless in the water like a total creep.
I'm stalking you.
Yeah, like normally, fish have to move. Like,
you would think.
But these don't. They just hover in the water because their fins are so big that they allows them to stabilize. They don't move until they have to.
That's, I mean, it makes sense, though. Makes sense.
Yeah, just creepy.
Creepy, yeah. With their big bug eyes. And
that's the barrel eye fish. So listeners, definitely look up a picture, although I'm sure we'll share one on Insta.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, yes. We'll definitely post one. All right. Barrel-eyed.
Nope.
Eye. Yes. Why is it still only one
eye? I don't know. It's in a family of fish. There's like barrel eye fish, other types too. I don't know.
Okay.
So it's something about the tubularness of their eyeballs.
But only one eyeball.
Right. I don't know. I ask the scientists.
All right. So the first animal that I'm going to talk about, I didn't even know it existed until a few months ago. And it stayed hidden so long because it's right beneath our feet. Literally. It's the Mexican blind cat.
Oh, I think I just recently heard about this too.
Yeah. Or it's right. I'm gonna try so hard.
I feel like we need to like insert music, like when something like
when I'm trying to sound it out. We should. Prytella. That was the easy part. Prytella frutophilia. I probably still butchered that, but that was close. C+ for effort. All right. So the Mexican blind cat, which was once thought to only live in 12 different spots.
Wait,
so
blind cat?
Blind cat. Yeah.
Oh,
like
okay.
a catfish.
Okay.
Yeah. Blind cat. It was thought to only live in 12 different spots in limestone caves and aquifers and underground in northern Mexico, and it's now been recently found in Texas.
Oh.
Okay. Very little is known about this species, and it wasn't until a pair was found in Texas in 2016 by National Park Service and a consulting firm. After 5 expeditions to find it, they finally located 2.
Wait, so they didn't know they were there, but they were specifically looking for them?
One, just a wild shot. So one National Parks ranger thought he saw one.
Okay.
And it thought he saw one. So that's whenever they were like, oh, like it has to be it. Like it definitely, like this is what it needs to be. And so that's whenever they started looking with this other consulting firm. And they were found like deep in a cave, just
like how deep are we talking?
Very deep. I don't think it never said, at least not what I found, it never said where they actually found them, but they had to like squeeze through, like only one person could fit through crevices and stuff like that. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. So 95% of their habitat is in the pores of the rocks within an aquifer.
Whoa.
So isn't that to me is the crazy part?
I imagine it's like a coral reef. You know how that like the just hiding in the.
Yeah. So when I was like, okay, so if you start thinking, okay, it's a fish that lives underground, then you're like, oh, it must be in caves and like cave lakes or streams or something like that. No, it lives in the pores of the aquifer, which can stretch out like for forever.
I feel like that. Yes, that's crazy, but it also makes sense to me because I was just thinking, how on earth did they distribute? Because, like, you know, other cave animals could just wander in, you know, but like a fish, how does one population all of a sudden, but yes, if it's an aquifer, it makes sense.
Yeah, so, but it's crazy because one, that has to be like an insane maze.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So let me go into a little bit more because it just gets weirder.
Yeah, what adaptations does it have for living down there?
It gets strange. So again, hang on. Okay, so since most of their habitat is impossible for humans to explore, because it's not like we can go into an aquifer, it was just by absolute chance that they swam into an area where humans were actually able to see them. So that's totally by chance anyway. And so since then, that pair that was found, they were taken in to San Antonio Zoo's Conservation and Research Center, and it was here where scientists truly discovered more about them. And so you might be thinking, why did San Antonio take them in? Well, the species is endangered. If there's any hope for survival, a breeding program has been implemented with hopes of turning it into a breed and release program in the future.
How do they know they're endangered?
I don't know.
Maybe they just haven't found them. Maybe there's like giant colonies
in an aquifer. What I will say, since a lot of the aquifers here in Texas are drying up, like they can determine that. So if it's like, hey, this aquifer used to be X, large, and now it's getting smaller.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can
kind of predict, like, based on flow and kind of how it got to Texas, it's going to be a lot harder.
How much territory, it needs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so their adaptations. So physically, Mexican blind cats are perfectly adapted to their surroundings. They are no more than 3 inches.
Whoa, so okay, you're right. I was expecting hand size, but now we're talking even smaller.
Yeah, like 3 inches. They're white, pinkish, or translucent in color. It's a catfish species.
So they have the bristles?
It does. And it completely lacks functional eyes because, again, who needs them when you're in pitch black aquifer all your life? So since they lack the eyesight, just like any other catfish, that's why they have the barbels, which are those whisker-like things that that are the stereotype of catfish. And so they utilize those to smell and locate prey. They also pick up electrical impulses, which help them to navigate through the aquifer.
So cool. Like a shark.
It is pretty cool because, again, like, it has to be...
You're just feeling your way in a vast black...
Of
nothingness.
Yeah, of nothingness. Because it's not like an earthworm where you can, like, dig your way to tunnel. You know what I mean? Like, you're in an aquifer through rocks and dirt. Like, it's not going to burrow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
there is a path. You just have to find it.
Find it. And hope you're not just going in circles.
Oh my gosh, it stresses me out even thinking about it. I don't want to ever live that life. That's horrifying.
I'm just in dark going in circles.
I'm going to have nightmares about it.
So remember, they live in, the pores, the holes within the aquifer, which that is, to me is mind blowing. And I guess I never really thought about it. Like, duh, if water can flow through it, clearly, like, other organisms can too.
Right.
I just never, again, it's below our feet.
What's it eating?
So, it just, like, tiny whatever it picks up. Again, it just, so it's
I guess catfish are bottom feeders, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly. They're all bottom feeders, which is why I'm not a huge fan of catfish, because they're like the trash fish. You know what I mean? Like, they just pick up the trash at the bottom. But since they're in this aquifer and there's not, like, huge substance, they can go very, very long times without eating. Like, I'm talking years.
Whoa.
Like, years without eating. Now, in captivity, they're offered food once a week.
They must have incredibly slow metabolisms.
Not sure. So I'm not sure if they take it, but I'm sure they're opportunistic, meaning that if it's there, they'll probably eat it. But they have adapted to not needing food by conserving energy, like your fish, by floating along the surface like a dead fish. Yeah. So they literally just float, which, again, if you're only going to eat like once every couple years, you have to be doing a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, of just
nothing.
Absolute. So not only are you just sensing your way around total blackness, but you're also like not eating, and you have to conserve your energy, so you're just floating. So it's not like they're actively.
Yeah, you're not even sensing. You're just floating,
you're just hoping,
floating through nothingness, like in a
like an abyss.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
So they're just bobbing there, which terrifying. So to conserve energy, they're incredibly slow. Again, to be fair, it's not like, they have a lot of predators in an aquifer. So they don't really need to go fast. So there's no need to expel a bunch of energy if you aren't running for your life or anything. So although they have adapted some incredibly cool ways of living, they are still listed as endangered, largely due to human threats. Texas/northern Mexico. For anybody who doesn't know, we actually don't have any natural lakes minus Caddo Lake in eastern Texas. All the other lakes are man-made. Yeah, like all the ones that are around, like all of the major cities and stuff, they're all man-made.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have lakes. It's Texas, don't have a whole lot of water. And so with the growing economy and housing developments, growing further and further out from these major cities, many aquifers are literally being sucked dry.
Yeah, I've heard about that out west.
And it's kind of happening here. Well, not kind of, it is happening here too. And not only that, but the ground contaminants, along with fracking and other mining, are heavy impacts on the aquifers. So even though
Can you imagine being a blind catfish and fracking going on?
Yeah.
You're like, all of a sudden you're floating, minding your own business in the abyss.
not eating
and all of a
for
sudden,
years. Yeah.
like, everything starts shaking.
That would be terrifying.
Dang.
So, of course, regardless of all of its amazing adaptations, which who knows how long they've been around, it's once again humans who interfere and are killing the catfish. Of course, it's always humans. But yeah, so that's the Mexican blind cat. It just blows my mind that something that large, like up to 3 inches, just lives in an aquifer. Like, I just never thought an animal would live in an aquifer.
This entire time, I've been wondering how it got started. Like,
how it got
I'm sure they can
How
do
did it get
DNA.
there? Yeah.
Right. So what I'm picturing is just some normal catfish. Small, but normal.
I need to be smaller.
Accidentally slip down through some crazy crack.
I need to survive. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, maybe at least 2 did.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then they just became what they are. But, like, that first couple catfish, they were just like, we're at the, like,
what do we do now? What do I do now?
It's horrible.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. It just blew my mind. And how I found out about it, which I'm sure is also how you found out about it, is there is a wildlife documentary being made about Texas wildlife.
Oh, that's not how I found out about it.
Oh, really?
Mine was something about... Mine was either a meme or something, some Facebook article.
Okay, so the film that they're doing, that it looks like this is going to be... they compare it to planet Earth, but in the very best part of the planet, Texas. So it's basically... there's nothing that Texans love more than nothing that Texans love more than Texas. They love Texas. I'm not originally from here. But yeah, so they talk about the Mexican blind cat, and they, I believe they filmed it at San Antonio Zoo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we'll definitely share some pictures, and because unlike Laura's, this doesn't have any eyes. Like, it just completely lacks eyes. It just doesn't. It just doesn't need them. So, but yeah, Mexican blind cat. It just blew my mind. I don't know why I never thought anything lived in aquifers, but it doesn't.
I never would have thought about it.
No.
Well, my next one is really weird and also pink.
Oh, yay!
I might have heard of this creature before, but never gave it a second thought. But like this time I actually dove in and learned all about it. And it's the sea pig.
The sea pig?
Yeah, you gotta look it up. It's so cool. It's cute and creepy at the same time. So a sea pig is not an aquatic pig, but a type of sea cucumber.
I wish.
A little aquatic pig. No, it's a sea cucumber, which still doesn't explain much because it's not a plant either. Sea cucumbers are related to starfish and sea urchins. They're soft, squishy, long, cucumber-looking things. So picture this. This is what the sea pig is like. It's pink, translucent, caterpillar-looking animal with lots of long tube feet it uses to move around and some tubes off of its head. It's quite a few face tentacles that have little, almost hands on the end that it uses to pick up food.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. Joshua, you need to draw that. You need to draw.
I'm serious. They might not look just like fingers, but there's like little star ends, and they look like little tiny hands. It's like Cthulhu's tentacles, but with hands at the ends. So sounds creepy, but it's actually pretty cute. I think it's because it's so pudgy.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's hard to be scared of things that are pudgy and squishy. Yeah. It's about 4 to 6 inches long, so about the same size as the barrel eye. But this is the deepest creature that I have to talk about. It is found for anywhere from 3,300 feet all the way down to 19,500 feet.
Which, yeah, I just...
19,000!
I just can't...
Okay, it's like 5,000 something in a mile, right? So that's like almost 4 miles down.
I just can't. I can't comprehend that. Yeah, I just can't picture how deep that actually is.
They live all over the world, and they're super, super common. Like in some places, they make up the most mass of creatures at the bottom.
Wow, no, didn't know that.
Herds of sea pigs.
Wait,
because that's gotta be what they're called.
Didn't we talk about this before? What's a group of pigs called? A group of pigs is called a drift or a drove. A group of young pigs is called a litter. A group of hogs is called a passel or a team.
Oh, right, because you talked about boars.
Yeah, so what is a group of...
A herd of sea pigs. Wait, if there is even a word for a group of sea cucumbers, I'm going to be blown away.
Can we make it?
A crop of sea cucumbers.
A crop of cucumbers.
A crop of sea cucumbers. And so then this would be either a parcel of sea pigs or a
Yeah,
a
no,
drove.
they don't have a thing.
Well, we just made it.
All right, so what are we calling a group of sea pigs now?
I mean, we could call it a parcel of sea pigs.
A parcel of sea pigs? Okay, all right, so our parcel of sea pigs.
Coin!
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
They are scavengers that eat dead and decaying material off the ocean floor, sifting through the mud with their cute yet creepy hands. So, like, as kind of cute as they are, normally you see them swarming like a dead whale carcass.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. My poor whales. Sucking literally bits off their...
Or just, like, combing through the mud with their little stuff. So, incredible adaptations. The one I've already kind of talked about is their hydraulic tube feet. So, hydraulic because they have no bones or muscles in those what look like legs. Like, they look a lot like caterpillar legs. But instead, they move around by manipulating the pressure fluid that's inside of them, like any other like a hydraulic machine. So, you know, they can, like, increase pressure, decrease pressure.
Interesting.
Moves it along. They're poisonous, which is cool. Little poisonous sea pigs, likely, you know, to protect from predators.
Poisonous sea pigs.
Probably from all the garbage that they eat.
Right? Just,
you know, because they're
just junk. They're bottom feed. Again, with the bottom feeders.
Yep. But my favorite weird adaptation of theirs, I guess it's not, well, it's a behavioral adaptation.
Okay.
They give piggyback rides to baby king crabs. No freaking joke. Like,
okay, Joshua, that's what you need to draw.
Essential. Yeah, totally. They're essential to baby king crab, like, growing up.
Oh, that's amazing.
So scientists still don't know why, because they allow this, because there's no benefit to the sea pig, just the protection that the crab gets.
Okay, but I know, you know, it's walking along the bottoms, but I picture, like, how an adult would give a little kid a piggyback ride, how it's like, come on, like, up on its back legs and, like, use its tentacles or its little arms to be like, come on.
So I like to think that sea pigs are either very fond of baby crabs, enjoy having a friend to traverse the ocean with because it's lonely down there, or that they've actually just been domesticated by king crabs and they're just mounts.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. So they just like hand their children, or either that or they're like nursemaids. They're just like, they made a deal with these sea pigs.
That's
because
their
what are
job.
the sea pigs getting out of it? Nothing.
That's
that
bizarre.
we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm imagining, because the sea pigs, they've got a couple of hydraulic feet sticking up, that the little crab is just both claws onto those, like riding a tiny little.
Here we go.
Yeah. Steering. We don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
And that's the sea pig.
Oh, goodness. That's really cute. That's really cute. We really need Josh to draw a sea pig with a tiny crab.
Definitely. Definitely. And he'd be all over it because he really likes crabs.
Yes. So. Alrighty. So my second animal, hold on, I lost my place now. There we go. My second animal, I owe pretty much everything I know about this to the Octonauts. So thank you once again, Octonauts, for keeping my animal knowledge up to date. What animal got its partial stardom from Octonauts, you might be thinking? The vampire squid.
Oh, I was going to do a squid, but I didn't.
Do you know what the vampire squid looks like?
It's not scary at all, right? Like,
it's creepy.
Okay.
It's terrifying. So first off, this animal does look like it's straight from hell. And really, so its scientific name. Okay, hold on. Let me zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in.
If you can't get the second part, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Listen, now the pressure's on. Hold on, let me break this up. Vampiroteuthis?
Toothus.
Is
like
it?
Architeuthis.
Okay, toothus.
You know, like Architeuthis, the giant squid.
Okay, that makes sense. Infernalis. Close enough. All right.
Yeah. Close enough.
It's creepy, and we'll definitely post pictures because it is a really freaky looking animal for sure. So this cephalopods, which include octopi and squids, only gets to be about a foot in length and can be found in tropical or temperate oceans.
I definitely thought it was bigger.
Yeah, it is off the coast of the U.S., including in the Gulf of Mexico. But because it's a fairly deep-dwelling ocean animal, it's not typical that you'll be going for a stroll on the beach and see one of these guys. Thank God. So, like other cephalopods, they have 8 arms, but they have webbing that connects each of those arms. And so it's kind of like the webbing, it looks like a cape, so that's why they had the name vampire. So the vampire squid has a terrifying appearance, and this really is its adaptation because a lot of other animals want to eat squids, especially if they're that small. So it's perfectly adapted to the deep ocean. So when disturbed, the vampire squid inverts its cape, the webbing between its arms, which then displays large spines that line the underside of its arms.
I see a picture of it. They look like teeth.
It looks like Predator's face. Like from the movie Predator, it looks like Predator's face. If you know the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It looks like spiky teeth. They say it's bones, looks like teeth. So they basically wrap their feet up above their head to expose the teeth, which is pretty funny.
But yeah, it's funny. It's like a skunk.
Right? So the only way I can think to describe this, and it's really a bad example, but it gets the image across. So, whenever you're a kid and you have like a really flowy dress on and it has pockets just cause, but you grab the dress and like pull it up over your head.
Like all little kids do.
All little kids do. And it's a horrible example, but that's exactly what it looks like. So you kind of get the idea, like it inverts itself.
It's like an inside-out umbrella.
Yeah, that has spiky teeth.
Yeah.
Terrifying teeth.
That'd be a cool umbrella.
Yeah, right.
Somebody needs to make a vampire squid umbrella. I would totally buy one.
That would constantly invert. Anytime there's like a little gust of wind that you would be scared about, it just flips inside out. So although they look pretty terrifying, they aren't predatory in nature at all.
Really?
Yeah. So it's more for show than anything. So remember, they're only 1 foot long. So
what do they eat?
What do they eat, or what do eat them?
What do they eat if they're not predators?
Just all anything small.
Because I would assume they'd eat fish.
Okay, so since it's not predatory, it depends on food particles that it captures using sticky cells on its long tentacles. And in this way, it opportunistically feeds on plant and animal matter that sinks from the surface of the ocean.
Whoa!
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Cool.
Cool, but so weird and seems really inefficient.
It does, but I mean...
Or the easiest, most efficient way to eat. Just hang out and wait for it to come
and
to you.
just wait. So, I mean, I would say it's a pretty cool adaptation for deep sweet dwelling because you don't have to, you're not hunting. Because, I mean, you think about a predator. Why is a predator the way it is? Because it needs to, it's hunting.
Right.
And it needs a large kill. And so if it's not predatory in nature, it's just going to kind of hang out there. So unlike shallow water squid and octopi, vampire squids do not expel black ink to escape predation. In the darkness of the mesopelagic zone, black or purple ink would not be very effective, of course.
Yeah.
So instead, the vampire squid expels a colorless substance that contains numerous particles of bioluminescent, which is light-producing material. So the twinkling light confuse potential predators. So basically, they ink out sparkles.
That's amazing!
Isn't that pretty cool? That's pretty cool.
They're like also unicorns.
Yeah, right? They're not so terrifying anymore because they ink out sprinkles or sparkles.
Or glitter.
Yeah, run away, glitter everywhere. So in addition to this fun party trick, when they are on the defense, they also produce light at the tips of their arms.
That's so cool.
So some scientists believe it may be a form of communication, though, too. That's not just like a way to deter predators or something. They actually think that lights might be for communication as well.
Do they blink in different patterns?
I didn't see much, but since they're living at a depth of the ocean, it's unlikely you come across another mate. So they do know that in some form of communication that can help them find a mate.
Cool.
So
like
yeah,
Firefly.
I didn't see any. Say again?
Like a firefly.
Yeah. Of like, hey, I'm way over here. Because you got to think of it's pitch black. And the only trick you have up your sleeve is to like ink out glitter.
Which seems like it would probably take energy.
Yeah. I mean, the lights at the ends of your tentacles would probably be pretty effective just to be like, hey.
I'm always like so fascinated by anything that bioluminesces. I think it's so cool.
It is really neat because, again, that goes straight back to Avatar.
Right.
It goes straight back. Anything Avatar, we're like, yes. Laura and I are the people who, after we watched Avatar the first time, I saw it super, super late at night. Like, we didn't get out of there till like 1 o'clock.
Dark.
Yeah, way after dark, like way past midnight. And I just wanted to run across the parking lot barefoot and go like jump in a tree.
I remember getting out. I remember going in the daytime and coming out in the nighttime. And being so disillusioned with my own world. It actually like hurt. Which
I want to live in Pandora.
It's the most insane thing to say, but like I can only watch that movie every so often because it hurts my soul.
It does. I can't wait for the next ones to come out.
That's this whole every couple weeks I've been thinking it during the pandemic. I think because I'm just anxious about everything. I'm like, Cameron, you freaking get on this right now.
Yeah, right. But we need it. So bioluminescence always brings me back to Pandora-esque time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, so the communication, again, like I said, help in finding a mate. So when they do find a mate, females are known to store sperm from males for long periods of time before using it to fertilize eggs.
Nice.
Which, again, cool party trick.
Right.
Like, they're just like, hey, you're attractive, you have great survival skills, I'm just going to hold on to the sperm until I'm ready. Okay, bye. And just kind of like leave. You know what I mean?
Just a nice exchange.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. So they have a lot of different adaptations. So that's everything I have about the vampire squid.
They're super cool. I didn't know almost anything about them. I've just seen them.
Yeah, like well, again, and I think because of their appearance, because a lot of times whenever you Google the picture of them, you know, they do look creepy.
Or just like if they're not inside out, they don't look anything special, really.
No. So, but everything that they do, again, cool party tricks, is they're just like, look what I can do, and do all kinds of stuff. So, yeah.
Cool.
That was a fun one to research and learn about, because, I didn't, other than what they said on Octonauts, I didn't really know a whole lot about them.
Yeah. Well, I've got even more, but I think really that just means we can do a whole nother episode at some point, so.
True. Oh my goodness. This one, because there's so much.
There's so many, and nobody knows anything about anything, so, like, we could talk about deep ocean animals forever, and.
So many episodes, which I feel like is any of our topics that we can just keep repeating every season. I don't know why we need to think of new topics every season whenever we could just revisit the same one. Yeah. D.0. Alrighty. That's all I had.
Yeah, I think that's all I have too.
Alrighty. Well, make sure you guys check out, because we're going to be sharing pictures on all of our Instagram and Twitter. So make sure you check us out at FTLON at footlong. And make sure you like and interact with us. Our engagement is super low, so we would love. Oh, and we're on TikTok now too.
Yeah.
We don't really know any, because we're millennials, so we're considered ancient old to be on TikTok.
I saw a TikTok the other day. I am an avid consumer of TikToks. I just don't know anything about making them.
No idea, but we're gonna figure it out, and it's the same handle as everything else, FTLON. If there are any young folk out there that know all about TikTok, reach out to us and help us, old people.
On social media.
Help us. All right, we will talk to you next week for episode 11.
Listen up next week.